Let's move on to Christian nationalism. By the way, friends, if you did not catch our the last one we talked about artists that we do recommend, music that we do recommend. Highly recommend you guys check that out from last week. That is available on all podcasting platforms. It's also available on our YouTube channel, PinPoint Live, and it is also available if you have like Spotify or like Amazon Music, YouTube Music, all that stuff. It's available there too. So. But let's move on to Christian nationalism. This is a question that we got, bro, in our email, ppointpodcast at gmail.com. If you guys have questions that you want us to answer, ppointpodcast at gmail.com. And yeah, Christian nationalism, bro. Why don't we just talk about what it is first, and then we'll go into the question.
So here's the definition from Google AI. Christian nationalism is an ideology that asserts the United States was founded as a Christian nation and should be governed by Christian values, with the belief that Christianity should be the foundation of American society. It often involves the idea that the government has a responsibility to create a Christian society and enforce Christian behaviors and laws. Some Christian nationalists also hold white nationalist beliefs, believing that a white Protestant-dominated society is ideal. What do you think about that, brother?
So, as you know, bro, I've been involved in politics for 5 years now as a very conservative person, like openly going to Turning Point events, like met Trump, met Charlie Kirk. I've met all these people, right? I got people on my phone that I can call up that are very well known in the conservative space. So like, there's no secret, like, you know, what I believe as far as politics go, even though I don't necessarily like anymore like to identify as conservative. I'm just Christian, but Christianity kind of points me that direction. But Christian nationalism has been something that I've actually been back and forth on for the past 5 years, especially as I got into my faith. But on the surface, do I prefer a nation that is more godly, right? By this definition, it says that it should be governed by Christian values with the belief that Christianity should be the foundation of American society. I would love that, right? If we're going by that definition, like specifically that, yes, I prefer that America is governed by Christian values, of course. And I don't think any Christian is going to deny that. Like a true born-again Christian can be like, no, I prefer actually that we don't have these laws. Like, no, I prefer that abortion is abolished. I prefer that, you know, there is no marriage outside of a man and a woman, monogamous, right? I prefer these things. However, this is a big however, right? And I'm sure we're going to get into this in a second, but
Right.
this isn't our home, right? We're pilgrims passing through. We're not like, okay, we're American citizens in the legal term, but we're really
Right.
not. We don't belong here,
Right.
right? Our citizenship is in heaven, right? We are seated on high places, right? According to Ephesians. And so, yeah, of course, like I prefer like a Christian nation, but you know, that's going to happen anyway, bro. Right? We're going to get that. I believe it's going to be soon. But again,
Right.
I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But that's like on the surface thoughts right there.
Yeah, you're right, because if every Christian is looking forward to the blessed hope and glorious appearing of our great God and Savior Jesus Christ, we're looking for his return, how he's going to rule and reign on earth for 1,000 years. Well, what's that place going to be like? He's ruling with a rod of iron. He's not playing
That's right.
games. It's going to be the only Christian nation ever on the face of the planet will be them, because the ruler is Christ himself. So yeah, we should desire that. But the USA, I think it's a misnomer to say the USA was founded as a Christian nation. It's a democratic republic, number one. The predominant religion early on in the 1700s, late 1700s, was Protestant Christianity. But that doesn't mean we were a Christian nation. A Christian nation would presuppose everybody's a Christian, I think, if we were defining things properly. But since the majority held to some Christian religion, it's bound to have an impact on the laws of the nation, because if the lawmakers themselves have a background in Christianity, whether they're truly born-again Christians themselves, they have that background. Of course, those are the laws they're going to bring to the forefront. So that the background of America, there's a Christian veneer of sorts, but we weren't a Christian nation. And the whole thing where we tie it into white nationalism, well, brother, I know you've probably been called a white supremacist a couple times, but Christianity was not a white religion, bro.
And
It was not started as a white religion.
I think that is probably the most. It's up there as probably one of the most ignorant things you can say about any Christian is that they support white nationalism. I mean, that is absolutely. I mean, I don't even know where to start on that. But yeah, I mean, and of course, yeah, I've been called a white supremacist, a white nationalist, Uncle Tom. You name it. Which Uncle Tom, by the way, read his story. Like, homie was great. But anyway, no, it's funny. But yeah, as you said, like, we have manuscripts out of Ethiopia before it's even in Europe, right? I mean, we have.
That's right.
We have. I mean, I'm not gonna say like Jesus. I'm not gonna say what Jesus' skin color is, but the average male in that region at that time,
it's not white.
They weren't looking like I'm not gonna say you, Kerrigan, because you are a little darker than
more like
the
you,
average.
bro. They look more like you.
They look more like me.
Your
but
shade.
They definitely didn't look like Adam Cartner. You know what I mean?
Definitely not. Or Brother Sam.
Oh no, or Andrew,
like Brother Sam. Or Brother Paul.
Brother Paul.
The sunlight touches that brother's skin. He's like dead.
You know who looked like Brother Paul?
Who?
Muhammad.
There you go.
I have
or the Edomites. Or the Edomites.
The Edomites. Well, yep.
Hopefully Paul will listen to that part and he'll send me a message later on. But yeah, true Christianity doesn't care about the color of your skin. Jesus died for every tribe, tongue, and nation, and wants people from every tribe, tongue, and nation to be in his kingdom. And it doesn't matter where you're born, who you're born to, when you're born, what religion your parents were, what their ethnicity is. Jesus wants you to be saved, and he died for you. So is it okay to be a Christian nationalist? Like we talked about earlier, it is okay to want Christian rules, to live in a country that is righteous and just, to desire your country not to be sinful, to desire, I mean, you don't have kids yet, bro, but I'm sure you desire for a place where your kids will grow up that's safe. A safe place. But it's not okay. Here's where it gets a little the other way. It's not okay to think getting involved in politics is the primary way to change your society. So what brings real change, brother?
Well, first and foremost is you personally, you as an individual obeying God's commandments.
There you go.
I'm not even getting to the Great Commission right now, right?
Yep.
That's the second one. The first, the number one way for you to positively make an impact on this world and those around you in this country is for you to obey God. I'm getting calls from everybody. Sorry.
Be a real Christian.
Yeah, that's right. Be a real Christian. The second thing after that, to glorify God, is to go out and preach the gospel. Because guess what? Right? Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. How can they hear? Right? If a preacher's not sent. And you know what's funny, bro? If everyone heeded to the gospel, if everyone became a true born-again Christian, guess what? You'd have no need for Christian nationalism. You'd have no need for any of these laws. You'd have no need for any punishment or jail cells. The prisons, the police would go out of business. They wouldn't have a job, right?
That's the true way to defund the police right there, bro. Everybody become a Christian.
Yeah, if you want, if you believe in BLM, become a Christian. That's what you want to do.
That's right.
But that's the solution to all the issues, bro. I've noticed, if you look at every issue in this country, guess what the root of it is? It's sin.
That's right.
If that person was a born-again Christian and the other person was a born-again Christian, when you look at a victim and you look at a oppressor or anything, if that person was truly born again, obeying God in that moment, that wouldn't have happened every single time.
That's right. That's right. So the root way of changing our world is by being faithful to Jesus, including his Great Commission, not changing people, not changing society or politics. Now, of course, there should be law and order in society. I don't think anyone, no matter what they say about defunding the police, I don't think anyone wants a lack of law and order in our society. I think everyone, they might say that with their mouth until they start living in it. They have to hire private bodyguards and security and everything else. Then they're really saying with their actions what their mouth will refuse to say because of their ideology. And then the question becomes, brother, what about immigration? This is really tied in with this. What do you think about immigration in regards to Christian nationalism?
I'm going to plug this real quick. If you guys want to go check out my other podcast, Let It Be Heard, Kerrigan was actually the first guest I've ever had on my podcast. I think you're the first guest, or at least
Maybe.
one of the first guests I've ever had.
Yeah. Yep.
And we actually had him live on my podcast with Right Side Broadcasting Network, where we actually talked about illegal immigration and how Christians should respond to it. Go check it out. Just look up Let It Be Heard, immigration, Kerrigan Skelly. Easy to find. It's on YouTube, Rumble,
Right.
All your podcasting platforms. But just to summarize that podcast, I mean, immigration is kind of a two-part thing. First of all, if you love God, you'll obey His commandments and you'll obey the laws of the land.
That's right.
Right. So on the immigrant side, you know, you're going to do it the right way. You're going to come over the right way. You're going to obey God, and you're going to obey the laws of the land by coming here the right way, right? And if you are here currently as an illegal immigrant, right, and you're breaking the law, that means that you're in sin, and you need to leave. I mean, you need to be honest. You need to go up to some kind of go up to some kind of officer or something. Hey, look, this is the situation that I'm in. I'd like to get citizenship. If not, I'd like to be deported and come back the right way. That's what a true born-again Christian should do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Christians who are here on the other side of this issue, I think this is going to be the more controversial one, bro. But, well, not for us. Me and you already know. But
Right.
as a Christian, we should not be enabling people to sin against God and disobey the laws of the land. And, yes, this does mean deportations. This does mean closing the border, right? Because we're supposed to be looking out for the best interests of others, and this is a safety issue. It does matter, friends. You know, caring for your neighbors, whether they're your brother in Christ or not, and it's just proven. It's proven and proven and proven. Trust me, as someone who is super into this stuff, that illegal immigration is an issue, or I guess really was an issue, but it still is an issue, right?
Yeah.
And it costs the taxpayer money. It costs people's lives. It costs people's health and well-being, and it's not good for us, and it's not good for them either, right? So to really love your neighbor is not to pat them on the back while they're being an illegal immigrant, right? I mean, just to be honest with you, that's like kind of my two-part to that, but
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more that we can tackle in that too.
Yeah, one thing I would say, there are exceptions. Like if someone they're a little kid and brought over here by their parents illegally, and then they don't know it all their life, and they grow up and they figure it out. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they need to do something about it, obviously, to try to figure it out. But I wouldn't say that person is in sin. I'd say their parents were in sin. Now, this goes back to the whole age of accountability thing, right? This whole thing where we are accountable for what we know. We talked about earlier. So, yeah, heaven and hell have gates. That's right. Very good by you. State outdoors. So, yeah, there's people who are outside the kingdom. It's a narrow way, a difficult path. The broad path open to destruction is for most people. And so we can't just let everybody in. This whole idea, brother, that if you don't let everybody in, you're not a Christian is ridiculous. I don't think we bar people from coming in based upon their ethnicity or where they're coming from or their religion necessarily, although, you know, some religions have been more dangerous to America than others. Like, I've never heard of, for example, a Christian or a Roman Catholic or a Hindu blowing up stuff in America. It's only Islam, right? So there's got to be some stringent process to go through to make sure the people coming in here don't hate America and what America stands for, because America has laws, and so people should be following the laws.
Yeah, I mean, completely agree with that, bro. And yeah, and just staying on this subject, again, if you're a Christian, you know, we want to be good stewards with what God gives us. And, you know, whether that's the land that you're on, like that means like your own household, the land, any land that you own, any house that you own, you want to be good stewards of that. But also the community that you live in, right? How are you giving back to your community? Are you living a life where, you know, you're willing to, you know, give your shirt off? You just literally, bro, that's crazy, the timing of your sermon. But I mean, you talked about this, how Jesus is going to separate the goats and the sheep, right? And what you did or didn't do to the least among these, you did it to me or didn't do to me, right? And so, and this obviously goes for the illegal immigrant. Of course, I'm going to care for the illegal immigrant if they stumble on my house, but I'm not going to be, you know, I don't mind giving them food, water, and giving them meeting their immediate needs.
Right.
However, you know, I'm not going to house them or break the law for them. And if anything, I would probably report them. You
don't enable them to disobey the law.
Exactly.
You can be kind to someone. You can tell them the truth. And every single immigrant that comes here legally, I will tell them the truth. I will preach to them. And listen, if I want to reach illegal immigrants, people who want to come here legally, I will go to other nations. It's called being a missionary. I've gone to Australia. I've gone to the Philippines. I've gone to Canada. I've gone to Ireland. I've gone to Israel. These places I've gone, I go to preach to people who aren't here.
Yeah.
Right? Because I want to be a missionary. I want to go into my Jerusalem, my Judea, my Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. And so we're called to be as Christians. We don't sit back and wait for them all to come to us and break the laws of the land. Then we witness to them. No, we got to go and share the truth with them.
Last thing I'll say about this is that God has his own immigration system, bro. I mean, the kingdom has a border, has an immigration system, and it is conditional. And the conditions to get into heaven are very simple, but they're not easy, right? And they require a lot more gruesome process than anything like America requires. And so if anybody has a problem with America having an immigration system, if anybody has an issue with a border, you have an issue with God as well, because he's going to keep people out based on conditions, and he's also going to build up a big old wall around that New Jerusalem. And
huge.
You're not getting in if you're not right with God.
Go read Revelation and see how huge that wall is.
That's right. That's right.
Miles tall.
Yeah, bro. Okay, so I want to move on to